addicts, welcome back to the American Girl Addiction. I don't know if you have heard the rumors, but supposedly American Girl is coming out with 2 new dolls sometime in the near future. People are thinking February based on some stuff that they saw on the website, but the 2 dolls are supposedly historical dolls, and the rumor is they're going to be named Nicki and Isabel Hoffman, and I have no problem with the last name. It is fine, it is good. I object to the fact that American Girl is recycling names. And I know a common retort to that is that both of those dolls were like at least 10 years ago. So the target demographic wouldn't necessarily be aware. But for one, the 35th anniversary dolls prove that American Girl knows people collect their dolls, and they know there are people out there who get multiple of them, or go back and get older ones. So to me, this just feels extraordinarily lazy. I can't think of a reason why they would want to repeat these names, especially because it's not like there are some names which have really long staying power, and I'm not saying these don't. To me, it's a waste not to use, another original name, because I remember when I was a young girl, and when, I was working with other young girls at volunteer programs at like the library and stuff, and even seeing girls in stores and hearing their stories online and on Reddit and stuff, people are always really attached to and excited about dolls who share the same name as them. And the more American Girl chooses like really out there names or repeats names and have them be too similar to each other. For example, ones that have really frustrated me on the channel in the past are Jess and Joss. And then we had, obviously the Gwen and Gwyn thing is pretty annoying, but at least Gwyn is a well-wisher. There's McKenna and McKenna, which was pretty aggravating. And then now there's this situation with, possibly having dolls, Nicki and Isabel. And especially the fact that they're sisters. Neither of them is having an original name. And this is just annoying. And because of this, I want to point out how many names there are. Not how many names, but I was able to look up and find at least 2 names starting with every letter of the alphabet. 2 girl names. And it is understandable that some of these letters and some of these names are duds. I'll just say U and X were scraping the bottom of the barrel, and they're definitely not winners. But some of these on here, I'm really surprised are not already dolls, especially when American Girl keeps, again, reusing the same letters or the same like names or sounds over and over again. So I figured I would just go through these, and for some of them I have some commentary, but for the most part I am just going to be reading the names. So for A, we could have Abigail, Addison, Alexis, Allison, Amari, Aria, or Ava. And admittedly, Addison, does have Addie as a nickname, so some people might say, isn't that too similar to Addie? And my take is, as long as they actually call her Addison, it doesn't really sound like Addie. Like, there's emphasis on different syllables, and people might say it's the same with McKenna, but to me, and again, Addison, it could be removed from here wholesale. Like, I think it's different. Other people might disagree, but even if you remove it, there's still like at least 5 names on here that would totally work. So I'm just saying Addison's popular enough. I think it's different enough from Addie that it could work. For B, we've only had, I believe, 1 doll. Somehow with all of the A names, we've only had like 1 doll whose name started with an A. And we've only had 1 doll whose name starts with the letter B. So for B, we could have Bailey, Brianna, or Bianca. For C, we've had more C's than we've had A's or B's. But for C's, we could have Cameron, Carmen, Catherine, or Chloe. we haven't had a single name that begins with the letter D, which is really surprising because I have on here Danielle and Diana. I also put Dawn. It's a little more understandable that they haven't had, a doll named Dawn, but Danielle and Diana are like pretty popular names. They could even abbreviate Danielle to Danny. So I'm pretty surprised that they haven't even used that letter when there are such good names right there. Then for E, we've had a few E's. We've had like 2 friend dolls and I think 1 like main character doll with the letter E. So here we have Eden, Ella, and Erica. And again, a couple of these are pretty popular names, so I'm surprised American Girl hasn't used them. For F, we have Faith or Faye. Faith, I'm more surprised about than Faye. For G, instead of naming, having Gwen Tan, we could have had, Genevieve, Georgia, Gina. So honestly, again, potential here. H, I'm surprised there hasn't been American Girl Hannah. Hannah is just such a popular name. So many decades where it's an option. And then we do have Heather, which is pretty dated. And it does have the specific connotation for some people of the movie and the musical. Could also do like Helen or Helene, depending on how far we're going or, whether she's like a French immigrant or something. So there are definitely name choices. For I, we actually have the potential for dolls of color with Inara, or Izumi. Then we have J's, and admittedly, J through M and a little bit of N are pretty popular to the point of kind of being overused, but I still tried to find names that were pretty unique. So we have Janie, Jenna, or Jen, and Jordan. Then we have Kate, Catherine, Kelsey, or Kim, Laura, Lisa, or Lily, and then we have Madison, Marissa, or Megan. And for N's, we've had like a mixed amount of N's. We've had Nicki, we've had Nellie. That actually might be it, but I feel like I'm missing someone. But it doesn't matter. But we could have Naomi, Natalie, Nina, or Nova. Honestly, for Natalie and Nina, and even Naomi, Nova's a little more out there, but sometimes American Girl likes to have a more unique name like Tenny, so I could kind of see them going for Nova. Then O, we have, again, 1 that I'm really shocked they haven't used, and then 2 that are just kind of fine. So we have Olivia, Onyx, and Odette. We have quite a few winners for P. We have Parker, Peyton, Phoebe, or Piper. For Q, admittedly they sound the same, but it's still better than reusing a name. So we have Quinn or Quincy, depending on which sound American Girl liked more. Then for R, Rachel, Rose, or Ruby. Then for S, Sadie, Savannah, or Stephanie. Then we have Tara, Talia, Tessa, or Theo. Theo is kind of rising in popularity for girls and guys. So you could have kind of a tomboyish character, or you could just have her, Theodora short, and Theo short for that. Use, like I said, it's not a winner here. Uma, Ursula, or Azuri. I mostly just included this and X to prove my point that there are a ton more names out there, and there's no excuse for American Girl reusing. For V's, we have Veronica, Victoria, Violet, or Vivian. For W's, we have Wendy, Willow, Winter, Ren. Again, X's, not very good. They're basically just Z names with an X in the front. So we have Xandra, like short for Alexandra, and Zia. For Y, we have Yara and Yue. And then for Z, we have Zara and Zoe. So, yeah, not all of these names are good. Couldn't see all of them on dolls. There's never going to be American Girl Ursula because, Disney. But I could definitely see a lot of these as Girls of the Year or historical characters or other types of contemporary characters. And it's disappointing to see American Girl returning to the same pool over and over again when there are so many really good names